What's going on, guys? CTG Matt back. You can read the title. Today we are tier listing MLB teams based on how their free agency has gone so far. Winter meetings just passed us, so of course that means free agency is far from over. However, the big fish were fried during free agency. Willy Adames, Juan Soto, Max Fried, guys like that. So a lot of the big fish are out of the water. It's a lot of surrounding pieces that are there now. Of course, free agency isn't over. So if your team has done nothing, or, has done a little to close to nothing, it's not over yet. Just remember that. I should probably move over here. It'd be better for the tiers. You can see the tiers now. I changed them just now because I kind of forgot, actually, to be honest with you. We have you did it. That means you did, like, the big move. You swung. You hit for the fences. Then there's that's pretty good. That's pretty good what you just did. Hole fillers. That means you brought in some guys to address maybe some areas where you were short last season. One signing, which means you have literally signed one player. Bad signings, which means, yeah, you might have signed a guy. But let's be real about that signing. It is not going to change anything you do. And the Nothing Brigade. The Nothing Brigade is the tier we'll be filling first because, as you can assume by the name, they did not sign anybody. They have not done anything. And to just get the Nothing Brigade out of the way, the Diamondbacks, they've done nothing. I think they were looking to trade Montgomery, weren't they? Or at least get rid of that contract. Don't know if that's going to work, but they haven't done anything. Josh Bell's a free agent. Christian Walker's a free agent. I think Randall Grichuk walked, if you care about that. They got, Paul Sewald, I believe, was out of there too. But they've done nothing. They've addressed nothing. So, yeah, you get put in Nothing Brigade. Technically, the Braves made a move. Technically, they did. But I'm going to be real with you. Brian De La Cruz is, I don't know. Do we consider that a lot for a team that I thought, with money coming off, Max Fried's leaving and stuff like that, I figured they might swing for the fences, address shortstop specifically, because Orlando Arcia is pretty terrible. But nope. They were a team that I thought Willy Adames could land with. No. They were a team that I thought Nate Eovaldi could land with, and I saw a report that, at least a write-up, somebody wrote an article about how they should make an attempt for Nate Eovaldi. Nope. Nate Eovaldi's off the board. They've just brought in Brian De La Cruz, and they let Ramon Laureano walk, who had a really good year for them. I don't know. They basically did nothing in my mind. Unless they fix Brian De La Cruz, it's a nothing burger. All right. Who else can I see here that's done nothing? The Padres, they've done nothing. They're still in play for Roki, so I mean, this could be like huge for them in a little bit. But as for now, they've still lost like Kyle Higashioka, David Peralta, if you care about that, Tanner Scott, Ha-Seong Kim. Who else is a free agent from there? There's another big one, Jurickson Profar. They haven't even brought back Profar. Profar's like the best vibes guy in the world for them. Bring back Jurickson Profar. But as for now, they've done nothing, so you get put in nothing. Cardinals have done nothing, but I expect them to sell soon. There's a lot of suitors for Nolan Arenado I'm seeing. I saw the Astros maybe, which would put Paredes at first, I think. I think I saw that. And then like, he wants the Red Sox is a thought because they can move Devers to first. There's a lot of thoughts for the Cardinals offseason, but not a lot of action so far. And I saw somebody projecting them to pick up some veteran pitcher. I can't remember what, but I think they're done with that. They had Lance Lynn and a bunch of retirement home guys last season, and it didn't work. Kyle Gibson. And it just didn't work. So I think they're done on signing old guys, so it's more or less like, what are they going to do now? When is the tear down happening? I don't know. It's been such a slow process. I don't know when it's going to happen. So, also the Mariners haven't done a thing either. They just haven't done anything. Who else hasn't done anything? Where's the Twins at? This one disappointing. These two right here next to each other. Mariners, Twins. Disappointing. I know free agency's long. They haven't signed anybody yet. It doesn't mean they will never sign somebody. But come on now, bro. The Mariners were close to making a playoff spot last year, and maybe their best hitter on the team was like Justin Turner. Come on now. Cal Raleigh. And then the Twins. The Twins basically had a playoff spot handed to them on a silver platter. The Tigers were terrible for, I don't know, like 4 months at least. I mean, they were terrible for a while, and then the Tigers boomed back, beat them to the playoff spot. Come on now. I don't know what they're going to do. The per 162 gods aren't blessing them with Royce getting hurt, Bucks getting hurt, and Correa missing time. Correa was unbelievable last year when he was on the field. But that's the whole thing with the Minnesota Twins, is that a lot of their players are really good, and they play. The issue is that they never do. So That's a toughie. Yeah, it's irritating as hell because I don't really know, like, what's next. They should make moves, but I don't know what they're going to even... Who can they trade for? Who are they going to trade? They have a lot of young guys. Like, I like Jose Miranda, or Miranda, I don't really care. And Matt Wallner hit a couple of bombs. I like Willie Castro. He's not really young anymore, but there's a bunch of guys on the Twins that I really like, but they just don't win games. And Rocco Baldelli's not a good manager either. Let's just keep moving, though, because that team makes me mad. More Nothing Burgers, a team that a lot of people thought was going to be active in free agency, myself included. I saw the Nationals as suitors for a lot of good players. You know what I mean? I thought maybe even... it's not over yet, but Christian Walker, I thought, might have been a good signing. Anything to help the young guys out, get some lineup protection in there, get a veteran presence in there for the young guys. Wood, Cruz, Abrams definitely needs some veteran leadership. I expected them to do anything, and they've done nothing. So, they traded Jake Berger, but otherwise than that, the Marlins haven't done anything either. I don't like the direction that they're going either. They're getting prospects back, but it's just like the direction of the franchise sucks, and it sucks to be a fan of them and to like root for their success because it's constantly overturning the roster. And there's never any consistency there. It's constantly new players in, new players out, or new players in, old players out, I guess. It really doesn't matter because they don't keep guys for very long. They don't pay guys. I don't like the direction the team's going. They have some young, fun guys that I like. Xavier Edwards is there. Connor Norby had a good season. What do you want me to say? I think that's it for the Nothing Brigaders because the Orioles signed, I think, just Gary Sanchez. There's no big deal there. Hold on. I'm an idiot. I forgot they signed Tyler O'Neill. That gets them into that's pretty good, to be honest, because they paid for, like, Diet Santander, I guess, and Tyler O'Neill, just another home run hitter. And then they brought in El Gary. El Gary has good catcher depth, has never hurt nobody. I like Gary Sanchez, and with them bringing that right field wall in, maybe you'll see more guys hitting more home runs. The righties, specifically, hitting more home runs at Camden. I like to see Gary Sanchez signing there because I think they got good development team. Do I think Gary Sanchez is the difference between them and a World Series? No. But what I do think is that Gary Sanchez is a good complementary player. Can give Adley some days off. He's got a good arm behind the plate. Last time we saw him play a full season was in San Diego with Blake Snell and them, and he was pretty decent. He was DHing a lot last year for the Brewers. Gary's an all right signing. Tyler O'Neill's a good signing. You got Diet Santander for Diet Santander price. You didn't have to pay the outrageous cost of Santander if you didn't want to. Red Sox. You're going to get put into hole fillers because it's not like... Garrett Crochet is a very, very good deal. Garrett Crochet is a very, very good pitcher. Don't get me wrong. But I see the weak-ass bullpen they had last year, and they added Aroldis Chapman as their Band-Aid. It's not going to do it. I don't have any belief in Aroldis Chapman as a leverage guy. I have almost no belief in Aroldis Chapman as a pitcher in general in 2024. And they brought in Carlos Narvaez, who was a bad catcher for the Yankees. If they turn him around, good for them. But from what I've seen out of Narvaez, he was pretty bad as a Yankee. So they got the hole fillers. They got their star pitcher that they wanted. They got Crochet. Great on them. But what separates these two, in my opinion, is that the Red Sox glaring hole was bullpen. For a lot of the season, it was bullpen. Their offense could put up runs, but their bullpen would blow every game they had. And so far, they haven't really addressed that, like, at all, except for Aroldis Chapman, who, like I said, is not a leverage guy. Cubs, I don't even know. I'm going to have to put it in that's pretty good, because if you can get an extension of Kyle Tucker, you're getting a tremendous player. Obviously, the Isaac Paredes deal to them did not work at all last season. Everyone who reacted to that trade thought it was going to be negative, I included, and it was terrible. We knew on paper that was a terrible deal, and yet they still made it. I'm not saying Morel is 10 times better than Paredes. Morel didn't really do better either. But at the end of the day, it's just you swap mid for more mid, and then they were able to get Kyle Tucker out of him. Of course, they had to give up one of their top pitching prospects in, Hayden Wesneski or whatever. But if you can get an extension out of Tuck, looks pretty good. But if he only spends, 130 games there, then it's a pretty bad trade. But if they can get an extension out of Tuck, you got a really good corner outfielder he's just a tremendous tremendous outfielder. Great player all around. I'm just putting in that's pretty good because I really think Kyle Tucker is a difference maker. Unfortunately, in my opinion, it's still the Cubs, and they'll finish with 82 wins. I'm grading it based on free agency, and in my opinion, adding Kyle Tucker is bigger than adding Garrett Crochet and Aroldis Chapman. Why don't we just bang out the AL East while we're here? Tampa Bay. Hole fillers? No, they got to go lower. It's one signing because all they did was sign Danny Jansen. That's who it was. I knew it was a catcher. I was going to say Ryan Jeffers. No, it's Danny Jansen. Danny Jansen's not a bad catcher, I guess. And the Rays do well at player development. They did trade and land Joe Boyle, which I think changes things for me because I really like Joe Boyle. I think he's got high potential. Joe Boyle was a guy who I was really in on going into 2024, and I was really out on Joe Boyle after 2024. But now that he's landing with the Rays, who have this history of making every pitcher a quality pitcher by some grace of God, I think, dude, they're going to be like, Joe Boyle, just move your thumb down a little bit on your fastball, and he'll bump from like a 7 ERA to a freaking 2.5 or something. It's going to be ridiculous, but I like the Joe Boyle deal. It's just that he's unproven, and Danny Jansen is just a cool catcher. My New York Yankees, I'm putting in, and that's pretty good. You lost Juan Soto. We lost Juan Soto. It hurt. I have a video on this channel, Juan Soto to the Mets broke my heart, because it did. It hurt a lot. But the one thing that I kept saying and reiterating in that video is free agency is not over just because you lost Juan Soto. You need to recuperate. And what the Yankees are doing right now is pretty decent for recuperating. You bring in Max Fried, who people are like, he's got arm issues. He's 31. He's going to be 31. You give him 8 years, blah, blah, blah. But those same people will go out there and say Corbin Burns absolutely should get 8 years, despite being 1 year younger and having worse numbers, getting worse every year in K per 9, strikeouts. I don't know. I just think Max Fried is a really good pitcher, and Devin Williams is a hell of a good reliever. Pairing him with the Dream Weaver himself, the Unicorn, Luke Weaver. Can we even call him the Unicorn anymore? Because I think Soto came up with that nickname. I don't like it. But for a team that didn't really even need stars in the bullpen because Matt Blake is a pitching god, Matt Blake brought in Tim Hill with a 5 ERA, and he pitched to a 2 the rest of the season. Matt Blake brought in Clay Holmes, who had a 6 ERA as a Pirate, turned him into a great closer, So Matt Blake does tremendous things with pitchers. I can't wait to see what he does with Devin Williams. I would like them to bring back Tim Hill. Can we get Tim Jim back on the team? I would like to see it. And they also brought back Jonathan Loaisiga. Now, my parlay, I'm going to throw out an over-under to you guys. Over-under 13 innings pitched for Jonathan Loaisiga in 2025, my bad. Over-under, let me know. And the Blue Jays. How do I grade this? So you lost Romano, you lost Horowitz in a trade, but you brought back Yimi Garcia, Nick Sandlin, and then you traded for Jimenez, obviously. Andre Jimenez. I don't know how to feel about that. Andre Jimenez, I keep calling him Andre Jimenez. Andre Jimenez, he's a good slap hitter, but elite defensively, dude. He had some Houdini plays in the ALCS or whatever against the Yankees it was. And he had some unreal plays. He plays hard. He's good. But I don't know. I think he's a hole filler. Middle infield wasn't their strongest last year, so that definitely helps. And, it's just you lost Romano and a couple other guys. I don't know. You brought in some guys who can fill in gaps. Of course, you struck out on Soto. There's a chance you still strike out on Burns. I heard they're in on Burns. Real tough situation the Blue Jays are in. They keep getting used as leverage. Go to Cleveland. Cleveland Guardians. You re-signed Shane Bieber. You brought back Austin Hedges. And I think they brought in... Who was the last one? It was somebody else they brought in. Luis Ortiz, who I actually think isn't bad. I watched him sometimes with the Pirates last season, and he didn't look half bad in my opinion. I'm not sure really what else to say other than that's hole fillers. And yeah, that's about it. Shane Bieber on a 1+1. I kind of predicted he would do a 1+1, but I didn't think it'd be with the Guardians. Good on the Guardians for getting their guy back. And then Hedges, care about Austin Hedges. All right, but no, they're gonna get brought back down. I'm sorry, they're gonna get brought down because it's yeah, they brought back Bieber, but he's coming off a big injury, missed basically the full season. But he was really good in the innings he did pitch last season. But also, like I said, he didn't pitch many. tough spot, and I think I just got to drag them down because they haven't really done much else, and I don't think they're gonna really. Traded Eli Morgan too. I don't know. Royals, we're just going divisionally. Weimer in India brought in Jonathan India. I'm not even factoring Joey Weimer into this. No disrespect to him, but I think the main deal was basically Singer for India. And sure, it allows Michael Massey to DH more. And Michael Massey, we should start calling him Michael Massey because that boy can hit. Michael Massey can hit. But that's about all they did. So that's it. Tigers, one signing. Alex Cobb. That's it. Tigers were a weird team though, where we weren't sure if they were going to be big spenders or not, and I kind of advocated for them to not do it, to really see if what they had last year was flash in the pan or real. You know, give them this season to see if they can prove it. What they did last year was real production or not. Now, I'm not saying guys like Kerry Carpenter and Riley Green had fake production. Tarek Skubal is a legit horse of an ace. They have some really good staples. But the thing is, you can't build a lineup card around two guys, Kerry Carpenter and Riley Green, and the rest are like mid hitters. You know, Vierling, shortstop is weird. Sweeney versus Baez is two cheeks of the same you know what. And I don't know. Torkelson's a question mark. Always has been a question mark. I'm not sure what to think with Detroit. And like I said, I just figured don't spend big this year. Don't bring in like Alex Bregman and try and rush this process. See what you have. See if it's really gold in the pan or if it's just dried piss. The White Sox. I'm just going to put them in bad signings. Austin Slater and the Sock man, Mike Talkman. They brought in a couple of outfielders. Cool. You have Andrew Benintendi with them, Luis Robert, and now Lou Bob gets a couple of backups. Maybe Lou Bob will be DHing more if Talkman wants to play center or whatever. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what they're figuring out. One thing that I have figured out is they may not be good again until Jerry Reinsdorf is gone. In one way or the other, I will not illustrate or explain any further what I mean by gone. Talk about a team taking some swings. I'm going to put the Angels in that's pretty good. Now, I was critical of them earlier in the offseason saying, like, what are we doing here? Why are we spending? But I started to really look into their young guys and Nolan Schanuel, Logan O'Hoppe, guys like that, and I'm like, they did all right. You know, they didn't do bad. Tyler Anderson was really good. I know that's not their development, but Tyler Anderson wasn't bad on the mound. You know, Luis Rengifo was pretty good in the time he was playing. Pilar, wasn't Kevin Pilar on their team last year? He kind of had a couple of moments too. So, you know, this isn't a bad team, all things considered. I definitely think that they climbed their way out of maybe the last place spot in the AL West with these signings. You know, Yusei Kikuchi, Travis d'Arnaud, those guys can give you like decent outings. You know, those guys can win you a game or two. And so I think they won't be the worst team in baseball come next year. They won't be in contention for that, but I'm still unsure about it because like Hendricks is 40, d'Arnaud's 35, whatever. You know, it's just Yusei Kikuchi was elite, not even elite. He was like really, really good for half a season. So I don't know, but I'm giving them props regardless because I like a team that's trying. I'm looking right at you, Minnesota and Seattle specifically. I applaud the Angels for at least trying in free agency rather than doing what the Twins and the Mariners did, and that is doing like you do for warmth and sitting on your hands. This is a weird question that I have for Cubs fans specifically, though. Why'd they sign so many catchers? Like Miguel Amaya is still there, I think, but then they bring in Matt Thaiss and what's his name? Carson Kelly. They bring in so many catchers. I don't know. Maybe they're gonna have a fight to the death for the second catcher spot. I don't know. Maybe. It's just a question I got for Cubs fan. Comment down below if you're a Cubs fan. Where's Houston? Space City. Where do I put Isak Paredes? I don't know if that's pretty good because, like, bro, would you rather have Kyle Tucker or Isak? And I don't know. I'm going to put in, like, I think I might have to make a new tier for the Houston Astros. I'm going to put it, like, below hole fillers. I think I just have to make a new row for them because it's, like, the stuff that they did was just, I don't know, like, I'm just going to mark it Astros because I don't know what to think of the moves that they had. They lost Yusei Kikuchi, but they also did bring in Isak Paredes. They landed Hayden Wisniewski or whatever his name is in the trade. And then they also brought in Cam Smith, who I read about. I don't know anything about him, to be fair, but I did read in like the Passan write-up, or maybe it was Ken Rosenthal, either one, that this guy like has legit potential. So maybe he's something. But I like Isak to the Astros simply because Crawford boxes, and that's a guy who only pulls the ball. He's literally allergic to going opposite field. I think if he ever were to hit an opposite field home run, Isak Paredes, by the way, if Isak were to hit an opposite field home run, he might literally die. I don't know. He might just. I think he is deathly allergic to going oppo. I think Crawford boxes plus him are going to be pretty much a dream come true for them. But I'm not sure how to feel about their offseason in general. It depends. Are they going to move Framber Valdez, bro? I don't know. I keep seeing they are going to, but they aren't really like trying to. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, if we get the right offer, we will, but we really don't want to pay him. I don't know. I don't like it in general. That's a weird situation. Either trade him or don't. Either put him on the market or don't. You can't do this whole, well, we might, we're not sure. Stop playing 50-50 on the line ball and just do something. The A's are getting put in. That's pretty good because they're the A's. And did they only sign Luis Severino because of the thought that they might lose their revenue or whatever, their TV revenue or whatever? Yeah, they did it because they were forced to. However, if you're a fan of the A's, by some grace of God, I don't know how you do it. You're a strong individual for putting up with that. But if you're a fan of the A's, you got to be a little bit excited for something, right? Like, they did something. They brought in a good pitcher in Luis Severino to complement your decent lineup with Lawrence Butler, Brent Rooker, J.D. Bleday. You know, so you have ball players now. Can you make a run for the crown in that division? Shit, maybe, because the rest of them aren't like blowing you out of the water. I'd say the Rangers will have a bounce back season, but that's still a throw up, toss up, either way, same word essentially. But I'm just applauding the A's for spending some money. Yes, they had to. They were literally forced to sign somebody, but they did it, and they gave it to a guy who I don't think they're gonna like regret it. It depends on what their pitching staff or their pitching coaches are like, but I don't know, bro. I'm complimenting them for what they did. At this point, I'm kind of wondering who's going to go in the you did it category because I'm really not sure. It might just be the Mets because they did like the one thing that they set out to do. I'm not sure. Let's keep looking though. Rangers. I'm going to put them in like hole fillers. Yeah, they brought back Nate Eovaldi. They brought in Kyle Higashioka because Jonah Heim did not have a great year last year. But I like Jonah Heim. I still think he's your starter, obviously, but Higgy can give him a day off, and Higgy hit for some power last season. It just threw me all off. Higgy hit for some power last season, and maybe he can give Jonah Heim a day off or two. I really like Jonah Heim still. I'm not saying he's a bad player or anything, but yeah, I think that they've done a couple of hole filler signings, and it's not bad. Oh, Jake Berger, too. I forgot about Jake Berger. I mentioned him in the Marlins segment of the video and then just didn't mention it again. They brought in Jake Berger, who is a good hitter. So, I mean, like I said, hole fillers, man. You need hole fillers in your lineup, you know? They didn't have enough hitting last year because I said it before the season started, but it was on my other channel, so I can't prove it. But I did say that the Rangers relied a lot on rookie production in the World Series year from Duran and guys like that. And it was like, could you rely on that twice? I don't know. They're really young. And they couldn't. Inevitably, they could not. So, you know, they brought in some established vets like Jake Berger who can help them, you know, get more runs on the board. The Mets. I'm just going to put them up there. I know, the roster still has holes, obviously. But you brought in the best. You brought in a top 10 at worst player in baseball. You know what I mean? Like, you can't complain about that. Then they brought in, before they even brought in Soto, they brought in Jose Siri, who is fun. A little bit too strikeout heavy, but that's just his game, and he plays elite defense, so that's cool. And then they also brought in Frankie Montas, who has potential and has always shown potential, but it's only been potential. That's it. There's never been like any real great production, just real potential. And then Clay Holmes, starter Clay Holmes for what I have no idea what to expect from that. But I'm excited. because this Mets team is either going to be a really fun watch and I will enjoy their games and I will still boo Juan Soto, or it will be a car crash and I will cheer Juan Soto for choosing to go there. If it goes great, he will be getting booed from my end. If it goes terribly, I might cheer him on. It really depends on what's going on in their season. But I applaud the Mets for at least trying. And if by the way, Juan Soto, terrible fielder. And what'd you do to supplement that? You brought in Jose Siri, elite defender. You know what I mean? Like, that's really a smart move. And yeah, it's been a pretty decent offseason for the Mets. Of course, Steve Cohen, you know, he's a god spender. And he definitely has not done anything illegal in the past. Don't look into that. Phillies, one signing, but it's also a hole filler. Their bullpen was terrible last year. I thought their bullpen was going to be really good last year, and it wasn't. It wasn't very good. But they brought in Jordan Romano. Yeah, I'm saying it like the Blue Jays commentator. That guy's brutal. Romano, he's just, yeah, I'm talking about the Blue Jay. But either way, Jordan Romano is a decent relief pitcher. Sorry if me saying Romano like that bothers you, but that's how the Blue Jays commentator says it. But like I said, it was a hole filler, but it was also a decent hole filler. Of course, they could have brought in Tanner Scott, but they haven't done that yet. But Orion Kerkering, that's where I'm going to end it. Brew Crew, Vernon Nestor, and Caleb Durbin, who's 5'6", maybe. I feel like 5'7" is generous for Caleb Durbin. But, you know, they did some things. They've done some things. But it's the Brewers, dude. They don't have to do anything. I thought they'd be last in the division last year. I projected them to be last in the division last year. And you know where they finished? The opposite of last. First, and it wasn't even really competitive. So they can BS their way through the whole offseason. They can go out there and sign 6 Mike Talkmans, and somehow they'd still make the playoffs. It's the Brewers, and I'm done doubting them. Pirates, one signing, but I kind of like Spencer Horwitz. It's not a signing, it's a trade. But Spencer Horwitz, in my opinion, showed some signs last year in Toronto. Not that this guy's going to be a star, but I think he showed some positive signs. He had some good at-bats last year. He seems like a good little young player for him. I'm saying young. I really don't know how old he is. Let me look up that. Yeah, I thought I was tripping about Spencer Horwitz putting up good numbers for a second. I was really starting to doubt myself. I was like, did he? Yeah, 1.2 WAR in 97 games played. It's baseball reference WAR, B WAR, and he had a 125 OPS plus. Dude, are you kidding me? That's pretty good. Whether it sticks or not, who knows? I like the signing, don't get me wrong, but Pirates fans, can y'all answer me why they want to trade Keller Jones? Why? You could really have just a really good pitching rotation around Skeens, but you want to trade your ace before you had Skeens and Mitch Keller, and the guy who I thought, could be like, hell, even like a diet Spencer Strider and Jared Jones. I don't know. Make it make sense in the comments, Pirates fans. Is it just because your owner's cheap? If it is, just comment that. Reds, Nick Martinez, Brady Singer, that gets it in hole fillers. Nick Martinez was actually pretty decent with them last year. I like Nick Martinez. I think he throws productive innings, and I also think that Brady Singer throws productive innings too. Of course, he got dented a little bit, but in that park, the Great American Ballpark, you're gonna get dented a little bit. That just happens in there. It's a bandbox. They're set up as a relatively young and fun team, but every year I buy in on the Reds, it punches me in the nose after. I like this Reds team, and I really want to believe in Ellie, and when Matt McClain's healthy, and TJ Friedel's healthy, and what's his name? Jake Fraley's there, and, you know, Spencer Steer's really good. Tyler Stevenson had a really good year. I really want to believe. I really do, and I don't know, bro, but every year I'm like, man, they're building something. Jeimer Candelario was terrible last year, and I said that was one of the best signings of free agency. So, you know what? Maybe don't listen to me. No, but for real, I like them bringing in 2 pitchers. They needed pitching. They got 2 pitchers. Whether you like them or not, that's up to your interpretation. But I think Brady Singer throws productive innings, and Nick Martinez did last year. Giants, I'm putting them in. That's pretty good. And I heard that they were in on Corbin Burns, and there was real potential that they might sign Corbin Burns. And if they do, Buster Posey put on a free agency masterclass. if they do. If not, guess what? You just landed your shortstop of the future. They haven't had real shortstop play since Brandon Crawford was good in 2021, whatever year it was. They had like 105 wins and lost in the wild card on a BS check swing. Either way, Willy Adames, 100 RBI guy last season, really good hitter, pretty decent fielder too. So I see nothing wrong with the signing. They signed him to we want you to be our guy money, and they really want him to be their guy. I'm happy the Giants got their guy. But can you do a little bit more? We'll see. But as for right now, the Giants look pretty good going into next season. I kind of like them. Of course, they play in a disgustingly competitive division. It's gonna be tough for them to win it. With the Diamondbacks, the Dodgers, and the Padres all competing there. Sorry, Colorado. The Giants definitely built to get better, and they did. Shout out Buster Posey, he's trying. Colorado Rockies, Jacob Stallings had a good year. They brought him back. Kyle Farmer and Tyro. I guess I'll put it in hole fillers. Tyro's on a minor league deal, isn't he? Yeah, I just kind of like them as hole fillers. They didn't sign anyone special. Jacob Stallings had a good year for them. So, good for them to keep him around. But, yeah, they haven't really done much for me to write home about. I don't know, dude. What do you want me to say? It's the Rockies. Shout out Zeke Tovar. Dodgers, you signed 2 Blakes and a Mike. That'll get you putting. That's pretty good. Blake Snell, pretty good. When he throws 180 innings, he just wins Cy Young. So that's fun. Let's see him break 2. He's going to put up 210 innings and a 1.5 ERA with the Dodgers. It's going to be putrid and annoying, and I'm going to dislike it, but whatever. And the Dodgers overall are having an interesting offseason. Mike Conforto, I like it. Dodgers have a good history at making hitters a little bit better. Look at Miguel Rojas last year. I don't know what else to call that other than Dodgers BS. All right, look at Gavin Lux's second half splits. Whatever happened to James Outman? He had a really good rookie season hitting the ball. It's just the Dodgers do Dodger things. And Blake Trinan, of course, great back end guy when he's healthy. So it's just they brought in quality pieces, again, to supplement their already elite talent. Shohei, Mookie, Freddie, Will Smith, blah, 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 blah. You've heard it a million times. The Dodgers are really good. I can't stand the Dodgers. I hate them. But they're putting themselves in position to win another World Series. More deferred money, more deferred money, more deferred money. Hey man, they aren't the first team to do it. They're just the best team at abusing it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, share, sub. If you noticed the cut on my lip, it's a shaving mistake. I'm so sorry. It bled for 6 hours yesterday. I'm going to go catch the game. See you guys in the next one.